And apparently that Christian Bale is regretting saying no to the new Batman movie.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he's not
really?
getting a paycheck anymore.
Yeah. Oh well, apparently he regrets giving up the mantle. Yep.
Yeah.
The cow. So I thought to myself, good. Let the hate flow through you, Christian. Let the butthurt begin, as Ben Affleck is the greatest Batman of our generation.
He is. It's true.
Bar Kevin Conroy, he's the standard, really.
He's the flag bearer.
He's the flag bearer. Bob Kane was not writing Bruce Wayne, he was writing Kevin Conroy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you've chosen to join us here. Thank you once again. You're tuned in to From the Batcave. I'm your host, Adam Gerard, and with me as always are my colleagues, my cohorts, my masked compadres in crime, the incomparable Terry O'Neill.
Hello.
And the vigilante Braden Hearn.
Hello.
And how are we this week, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
Doing well.
Got to see some quality Batman this week, so I'm very happy.
Did you go back and watch Adam West?
No, I didn't. I watched my man Kevin Conroy.
Wow, that's your first.
You got a man now?
How do you feel having your first man?
It's not my first man. I went to private Catholic school, so it's a long story, but we won't get into
Any
it.
holes of goal in the winter?
Yeah, pretty much.
Any port in the storm?
Pretty much.
Now you know how Oliver Queen felt all these years at sea. Well, yeah, so any exciting stories from the week? Did anybody get up to anything exciting at all? Anything. Besides what we're going to talk about with watching Batman, obviously.
That was pretty much the highlight
That's
of the week,
it.
I think. Pretty much.
You guys are...
I had to
living
call
life
in sick
in
to
the
work
fast
to actually
lane, aren't
fit in watching this movie, so...
Well, I see. I'll tell you, I had some exciting times this week because they finally released games for the PlayStation 4. It was a momentous day, and I've played some of them, and they were good.
That's right. I mean, I've just been divulging in Far Cry 4 for a little while.
Yeah,
I've been playing Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon. How I miss you.
I'm sure the two relate. I've been watching Terry for the last hour, Braden, run around with a bow and arrow in this game, this realistically rendered game, just being like, you failed this city.
It was great, man.
And then I watched him get fucked up by a honey badger, and that was pretty funny.
And a
I
rhino.
don't give a shit.
And a bear.
Yeah, he sunk like 2 clips of a sniper rifle into a rhino, and then it killed him. It was entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Every time I cried, I'd hear this evil laugh from the Batcave. Just, nah,
It's good times.
you suck, noob.
That is usually what I say to just people on the street anyway. Look at this noob catching the bus, walking with his pants. You suck, noob. Well, should we move into this week's TV?
We probably should at some point.
Yeah, probably.
It's been 3 minutes. I think we've sufficiently filled our quota of sparkling repartee. The fans won't know what to expect if we keep it up any longer than this. They'll freak out.
I wouldn't say sparkling. I'm more of a flat, more of a flat than
Steel.
sparkling.
It's a very steel repartee. Well, I do actually have some very, very good news that came in during the week.
Yes?
I've got some fan feedback.
Oh,
We made a fan. True
Yes.
story. Somebody listened. Somebody out there listened, and I'm going
Thank
to give a
you.
shout out to him.
Thank
To
you,
my man,
listener.
Mr. CrossFit himself, Josh. Josh, thanks for giving us a shout out and let us know you like the show. He's also only gone so far as to write us a couple of questions. So what I'm thinking is, I'll ask him now, and then a bit of a teaser. We'll come back to it right at the end of the show, so you guys have had a bit of time to think about it.
let it ferment.
Yeah, exactly. Let it ferment like the steel repartee in the festering bucket of conversation that we have. So his 2 questions are as follows. Firstly, in the new Arkham Knight game, do we think that the villain is Hush based upon what has happened in Arkham City?
Yep.
Do we think it is perhaps the Joker or somebody like that, or do we think it is an entirely new character? That's question number one. And question number two is about the Batman live-action films we've been watching and that we will watch. We've watched a couple so far. We're obviously leading into the Nolan trilogy eventually. His question is, as far as live-action films go, there have only been two Alfreds, Michael Gough and Michael Caine.
Mm-hmm.
His question is, in our opinion so far, and I think this is a very good question that we can actually come back and revisit right at the end of the watching experience of the Nolan trilogy, who is the better Alfred, Michael Gough or Michael Caine, and why? So there you go, teaser. We'll have the answers to those questions at the end of the show, so stay tuned through all this other bollocks and bad jokes to get to that.
My name is Oliver Queen. After 5 years in hell, I have come home with only one goal: to save my city. To the rest of Starling City, I am someone else. I am something else.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. A friend recently gave me the idea for a new name, and something tells me it's gonna catch on.
James Gordon. Alfred Pennyworth. We're gonna get the guy that did this, sir. New boy, are you? You'd say. Good luck, mate.
All right, well, that was a nice moment of silence there for letting the question sink in. And let's move on. This week in TV, we'll start off with Gotham, of course. And this week, it was episode 9, entitled Harvey Dent. Don't know where I've heard that name before. Wasn't there already somebody named Harvey in this show? They shouldn't do that. It's just going to get confusing for people. They should call him something else. If only he could have an alter ego name or something. I don't know.
Something like Jose. Juan.
One was black and one was
Julio.
white, right?
I'm Batman. Who are you? Jose? I don't know what to say to that.
No way, Jose.
Okay, Jose. Anyway, this week's episode started off with... we picked up where we ended the last episode with Jim Gordon finding Selina Kyle in the police station yet again. That girl can't stay out of trouble, can she? She's a magnet for it. And he decides he needs to take her somewhere safe, so he's going to take her home and give her to Barbara because she's got nothing else to do. She's kind of sitting at home drinking and complaining. What else? What else is she going to fill her life with? But he gets there and she's, of course, done her runner. And Jim gets all upset and reads the note and realises that there's only really one safe place he can keep Selina Kyle out of trouble. And
Arkham Asylum?
It hasn't opened yet. That's a spoilers. Jeez.
No, sorry.
No, he decides to take her to Wayne Manor, where he asks Alfred and Bruce to look after her, and Alfred very much wants to tell him to fuck right off. But Bruce is all like, come on, Alfred. I'm the master of this house. And as we're going to discover, I think, continually in my mythos, women are my one weakness, so we can't kick this woman out. We've got to keep her here. Come on. So they decide to keep her there. Now, Bruce begins getting to know Selina, but she isn't all that cool about opening up to him, I guess you could say. She's a little bit closed off. And while she's at Wayne Manor, she obviously has given a description of the person who has killed the Waynes, so Bruce wants to find out as much as he can because obviously he wants to know who killed his parents. I think that's understandable on a certain level. Wouldn't we all want to know? Now, the main crux of this episode obviously had to do with the fact that during the transportation of a prisoner from Blackgate Prison, he was busted out. But this wasn't just any other prisoner. This was a man who is a bit of an explosive expert and seems to be able to make bombs out of anything. I think he's the MacGyver of bomb making. Could give him, I don't know, a matchbox. Well, not a matchbox, that'd be useful. Give him, say...
Paperclip.
A paperclip and, I don't know...
Contraceptive.
Yeah, sure. that you wouldn't... Actually, that would be safe. Anyway, moving on. He's busted out on his way during transportation and taken hostage by the Russian mob, who want to put him to work against against obviously Falcone, who they blame for the death of Nikolai. Now, James Gordon meets up with the ever stunning and smooth future district attorney, I should say, Harvey Dent, who seems to be rather playful and kind and all upbeat and happy with his double-sided coin that he's flipping, and he convinces a kid to turn around his life because he makes him think that God has intervened on behalf of this coin. But of course, we find out it's the infamous double-sided coin all along. And then later on, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and just explain the Dent storyline all out. He decides that Selena is an asset in putting some pressure on people to find out who murdered the Waynes. So he decides to use that to his advantage, and that's why Jim keeps her at Wayne Manor, because he's worried that something's going to happen to her. And when Dent does go to put pressure on the particular mob boss in question, he kind of snaps a little bit, and we see perhaps a little bit of the future Two-Face coming out, which was just incredible to see. I've got to admit, I loved it. Spoilers, I'll get into that in a little bit why I loved it, but thought it was really good. And then this week's storyline for the Penguin, of course, dealt with the fact that he was chasing down Falcone's lover, enchantress, whatever you want to call what the lady that Fish programmed to enchant Falcone out of his mind. Penguin breaks into her apartment and steals her panties and has a nice sniff of them, along with other things, and basically tells her that he knows what's going on and shit's going to get real unless she opens up to him, and she freaks out and he freaks out and shit goes to hell. And then when Penguin later turns up at Fish's club and says, well, what would you say if I knew that you were spying on Falcone? We know it was just a very tense moment, but we know that things are definitely going to pick up there, and I don't think one of them is going to survive this season.
I wonder which one.
Yeah, spoilers. I think the Penguin's going to die. I mean, he's not important to the story, is he?
Not really, no. He's not a long-lasting
Never
character.
heard of this Oswald Cobblepot. I bet you he doesn't bleed blue blood and live in a sewer with some circus freaks.
Okay, that's enough out of you. Keep going.
Now we end the episode with two things. We end it with Bruce actually smiling and having fun for the first time as he plays with Selena, who tells him that if he can hit her with a bread roll, she'll kiss him, which, as I've alluded to, pussy. So Bruce loses his mind and starts throwing bread rolls like a madman. And Alfred pops into the door, and I thought he was going to be all like, hey, you two, stop fucking up. Who's got to vacuum that shit up, you bastards? But he just has a smile and just goes, oh,
Kids.
young love. I'll throw some condoms in there and close the door. Get into it, you two. And then we leave this week's episode with the mayor announcing that Arkham Asylum is going to be reopened and that all of the high-risk inmates of Blackgate Asylum are being sent there because it's too risky, obviously, to have them anywhere else in Gotham. And it very, very weirdly seems like something is being planned there that we don't entirely know about. Almost like it's foreshadowing or something. I don't know. And the episode ends with everybody's favourite bitch, Barbara Gordon, lying in bed as Jim Gordon tries to... Does he send her a call? No, he calls her. Tries to call her. She ignores it. And that's because we see her lying naked in bed, and I was like, all right, liberated lady sleeping in the nude. I can respect that. Nah, she's just getting pooned out by bloody Montoya.
Yeah.
It's just no respect. I hate this Skylar White chick. I hate her.
I do hate her.
I hate her too.
I hate her.
Yeah. There would have to be a massive redemption story somewhere.
Oh, unless she saves Jim's life.
Yeah, she hangs herself.
Yeah.
What, sacrifices herself.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see her dying, and that's why ultimately Jim, when he has his kid, names her Barbara.
Yeah.
Because it's like where she sacrificed herself once, long ago before I grew this mustache and went blind.
See, keep going.
No, I was going to say that's the synopsis for this week's Gotham. I'm going to pass the floor over to you two to have a bit of discussion before I jump in and tell you either why you're right or wrong.
All right, Braden, if you want to swing your bat at this one first.
Yeah, right. It's been about a week since I watched it, I think, so try and refresh my memory a bit there. But Harvey Dent's character, really liked that. Really loved how he showed his, I guess, other personality briefly there. That was
His
really
second
good.
face.
His anger
Yeah,
management issues.
Yeah, that was great. I like
That boy's...
What was it?
Gotta hit
Don't
the
threaten
counselling.
me. He's going off, and then he just.
Hey, didn't he say he was going to skin him or something?
Yeah, he's going to
Something
skin him
like
and
that.
wear his...
Face.
Yeah, something like that.
Wear his face to see his mother or something, wasn't
Yes.
it? Something really
It
fucked
was
up.
really dark, but he was foaming at the mouth and spitting when he was talking. It was insane.
Yeah, I noticed that. He just went completely crazy.
He
was
lost
great.
it, and then he just stepped right back into the other character, and like nothing ever happened. It was fantastic. I loved that.
Yeah. So far, like, there's two really strong actors taking on future villain parts, so
Oh, definitely.
that's ridiculous. In fact, nothing else
Definitely.
needs to change. Just give me those two guys growing into what they're meant to be, and I'll be
Yep.
happy. I'll be happy.
There's three.
Oh, obviously, we're waiting for that one, but
No, the Riddler.
Yeah,
Riddler, Penguin.
I'm kind of happy with the Riddler. Like, I could sit on the Riddler for like that for the next half season, and I'd be happy. If you kept giving me that much development with Harvey Dent,
If you sat on that Riddler, you'd kill him.
once again with the fat jokes, you Ginger Kent.
My name's not Clark. I don't understand what you...
Anyway, we're 15
Now-
minutes in and I'm already being abused. Great.
It's 15 minutes later than usual.
Yeah, I know.
So enjoy it.
Yeah, I know.
Liberate it. I was being nice for a while. Did you notice, gentlemen, there was a very slight moment of something that I picked up on very subtly in the background. It's around the 35-minute mark when the Russian mob were breaking into the bank vault. And in the background you hear a very, very distant but very, very distinct laugh.
Yeah.
For about 3 seconds, it causes one of the villains in the back to nudge his buddy and point over like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Really? No, I didn't notice
Yeah.
that.
Go back and watch it, man. It's a little bit
It's
freaky.
right there. It's really freaky. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It's just kind of like that kind of, and it's only there. It's about that long.
Yeah.
But it's just enough for you to, and it's not clear enough that I could play it over the radio and have it encapsulated. You have to kind of sit and hear it a few times. But
It was
it's
very
there.
Mark Hamill the way it was done as well.
Yeah, it's very
It was
loopy.
spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky and loopy. It was good.
So
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
I think we've pretty much covered how Gotham went. I mean, it was a solid episode.
It was.
Has
I liked the, I guess, what do you call it? The relationship between Bruce and Selena as
I
well.
like that it was
sort of-
instant.
and it looked like so much how they are as Batman and Catwoman
Yeah.
together as well. They've got like
Yep.
that little thing between them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I like
automatic
that.
spark.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I liked there were a couple of things I liked with Selena this week in particular when they were doing the boxing scene. And
Yeah.
first of all, I like Bruce taking free punches at Alfred and Alfred being like, oi! But I also liked that Selena's comment of, in Gotham, people don't wear gloves.
Yep.
yeah,
And then there was also
on
a
the
comment.
streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I liked also like Alfred's comment when he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you fancied her," and Bruce is like, "What are you talking about?" He's
What are you
like,
on about? Yeah.
"He's like, I know I've been around the block." He's like, "Well, you know something about women, Alfred?" He's like, "I know a lot more than you do, you little shite." I wasn't always a butler. I was a poon hunter once.
When I was 21. Now, this Alfred is definitely growing on me as probably one of the best ones. It's got enough
It's
of
fantastic.
it's got enough of Michael Caine and Michael Gough for me. It's got enough of those.
It's a nice blend of the
It-
Michaels.
It is. It's like if you stuck them all in a blender and you get this Alfred. It's as simple as that. I like Michael Caine because the accent and like the little bit of attitude
Well,
he gives.
we get into this at the end.
Oh no! They're like so. It's that nice blending. You got a Cockney butler with that little bit of posh. So he's probably grown to be one of my favourite Alfreds, or my favourite Alfred.
I think by the end of this show,
Sounds
you'll
like a
be
sitcom,
mine.
really.
My favorite Alfred.
Yeah.
Starring Michael Caine and Michael Gough. Coming this summer to CBS.
PBS. It's not a big show. It's going to be PBS.
Oh, who's made this mess? Somebody's come down here and made a right mess, haven't they?
Directed and written by Chris Nolan. Because that's the only person Michael Caine will work with. Evidently, Michael
I heard
Caine
I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but I heard a story about Michael Caine and how he picks scripts. Have I told that story on here?
No, but
No.
you've had this beef with me before, but keep going.
He's apparently nowadays he I can't remember who it was that was doing an interview, but they were talking about Michael Caine. I think it was Kevin Spacey was talking about it, and he said, "This is how." I asked Michael Caine, "Well, how do you pick movies?" And he goes, "Well, they hand me a script, and I look at the script, and I go to the first page, and then I go to the last page, and if the character they want me to play is on both pages, then I do the fucking picture." So I don't know. I literally, and I thought about that, and I was like, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
He's on the first page.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the last page. Holy shit. I honestly think that scene at the end now is just written because they were like, well, fuck, we don't put him at the end. Michael's not coming back to do this movie. So a little anecdote there and a little sidetrack to, well, that wraps up Gotham for this week. So I'll pass it over to our resident Flash expert,
That just makes me sound so wrong on many
the
levels.
fastest man in the room.
Well, it's just how you get things done, really. I need
It's
time.
efficient.
There's other. I need time for watching TV.
Honey Badger don't give a fuck, as you learnt earlier today.
That's right. I think that's my nickname from now on. The
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger. That is my That's my name as a superhero, the Honey Badger.
So I'm Red Thunder.
I'm the Honey Badger.
You're the Honey Badger. Now eventually we'll get Braden one.
We'll find one. Oh, so this week's episode 6 for the Flash, because we skipped one.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Was introducing the Flash. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so opening scene, we had Iris West reading out her blog as she typed, as all writers do, in the CC Jitters Cafe. She's magically... That's what it's called. It's called CC Jitters Cafe.
I was laughing at the fact that you write. It's like, well, I need to write my article to the coffee shop.
Yeah. How cliche can I be?
I don't have electricity or internet at my house.
Well, her dad is a cop with a drinking problem, but we'll get to that later. She's whisked up to the rooftop by the Flash. He pretty much says, stop writing the blog. A bit of friendly banter between the two of them, and it's laid at the very end of that little conversation, it's mentioned that he'd probably be preferred to be called anything but the Streak. So then we're introduced to the villain of the episode, called Tony. I forget his last name, but it's Tin Man, I'm pretty sure. Adam's got his thinking face on. Yes.
Gerda.
Girder.
Yeah,
Isaac Girder, is it?
Girder was the name of the robot.
Yeah,
they
this is the
trained
name of the robot that happened later on in the episode.
that Cisco made.
It's training.
Yeah, but the guy's in the comic. The guy's name is Gerda.
Oh, really? I didn't
That
know.
character is Gerda.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Colossus looking,
Girdery.
Gerda looking motherfucker.
Gerda looking. So we're introduced to Gerda, as I've just been informed, via a scene where he's...
That sounds like German. Hello, my name is Goethe. I am here to fuck up the Flash.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Gerda via him driving down the highway in a stolen bright yellow Hummer. Very, very stealth. I like that. And then
He's no Batman.
No, he's no Batman. We pan across to Detective West and Detective Thorne at the road barricade, waiting for the Hummer to come in. And child's crossing the street, and the Flash comes in, grabs the kid, takes him across the side of the road. Eddie Thorne's seen this, so West has had to sort of crash tackle him out of the way of the Hummer. The Flash pursues Gerda to a back alley, where he confronts Gerda and proceeds to get his ass pretty much handed to him.
Beat into the ground.
Basically beaten into the ground. Fractured hand, the lot. So we go to Star
It's a
Labs.
concussion as well, by memory.
Yeah, it's over at Star Labs. Was it Wells, Snow, and Cisco? They just find Barry there, just passed out on the ground, basically with an absolutely
Yeah, he
mangled
can't
hand.
breathe.
Yeah, he can't breathe. He's all sorts of messed out. And they're still in Star Labs. They're patching him up. Barry's relating the information to Harrison.
Yep.
And Harrison makes a nice little quip, the Man of Steel quip.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, that's very cute. So maybe there might be a relation to Clark. I'm hoping they extend the CW-DC universe out to Superman.
I think
really hope they
it's
do.
more of just a tongue-in-cheek of the fact he clearly knows about the future.
Yeah,
And
but I really
you
hope
can't know about the future of that universe without knowing.
Yeah, but that for me was like hopefully opening up the CW-DC universe up to having Clark Kent in there somewhere. I'd like that, but
Oh, I'd like it to. If the movies do well enough,
Yeah.
they'll separate the two franchises.
Yeah.
It's just they're scared at the moment because they don't want
Mm-hmm.
another Superman or another Batman, and then to have this film that they're sinking millions of dollars into tank.
true.
But once they've proven that, they'll just go fuck it to universes. Who gives a
Yeah,
shit? We'll
fair
do
enough.
what Marvel aren't doing,
Yeah,
which would actually work out for them. They'd be able to do the one thing
Yeah.
Marvel aren't doing.
this is true. Back at the CCPD, West is watching Detective West, or Black Lance as you like to
Black
call him.
Lance, my
He's
man.
watching Barry's interview for when he was a child, when his mother was killed. Barry walks in, he slams the laptop shut, and tells Barry he has to go have a chat to Eddie because Eddie saw something supernatural and he has to pretty much go misdirect him, give him some sciencey stuff. It's revealed that Barry and Gerda, or Tony, I don't know his last name, went to school together, and Tony was basically Barry's bully.
Tony Football Jock.
Yeah, he's a
I think
football
that was
jock.
his name, Tony Football Jock.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going with.
Okay, Tony football job. Eddie notices something is wrong with Barry and Iris' relationship when Iris pops up and they're really stone cold to each other.
Yeah.
And Barry's like, no, everything's fine. Backs into a door and leaves. Detective West then goes to Wells and asks for help to solve Barry's mother's murder. Cisco at Star Lab sets up a training dummy, which is referred to as Barry's girder. for Barry to learn how to fight, which is fantastic because all the best boxers and best fighters in the world learn from an autonomous robot.
Well, while he does have his wooden one, that he takes his frustration out on a lot.
Yeah, this is true.
There's been a few times that down in the quiver, Digger's come down and Ben will like, "What are you doing, man? You're getting out stressed out."
Yeah, and there's Ollie beating the crap out of the
Yeah.
Kung Fu dummy. Yeah, yeah.
And Holly's like, "I bought it a donut, Digger. Just leave it alone."
So that goes really, really badly because Barry doesn't know how to fight and just ends up another broken rib, concussion. So that's great too. Over at the crime scene where they find the bright yellow Hummer,
Yep.
Barry and Eddie have a little bit of a bonding moment.
Oh, that was another thing. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I'll get. Sorry, I'll just interject quickly because
Yeah,
it's
do it.
only a 2-second thing.
Yeah.
I noticed once again, Barry this time wore one glove.
He did.
Picked up evidence with the hand that wasn't wearing the fucking glove.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Just
Halfway there.
fucking brilliant. I was like, hey, one glove, okay.
Yeah, but last
I can
week he had
accept
two,
that.
though. That's
No,
the
no,
thing.
but I can accept that because all he was doing was sifting with one hand.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he used that hand for most of the ship, then he's like, oh, this is what I need. Kaplonk. It's like, gee. You're killing me, Barry. You're killing me.
They bond a little and somehow, they get a tip or something that Tony Gerda worked at a smelting factory.
Yep.
Where there was an accident after Tony got the pink slip, fell into a vat of molten metal.
Yep.
Exactly perfect timing. Where the hadron, it's not the hadron collider. What do they call it? A particle accelerator.
Particle
exploded.
accelerator, yeah.
So that's how Gerda got his magical Tin Man abilities. Tony then rocks up at Gerda then rocks up at the CC Jitters cafe to have a crack at Iris.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
So, I like that brown sugar, Iris.
I love how you're not sounding creepy at all when you say stuff like that. It's beautiful. You just sound like an innocent little boy. Little blood nut.
How I pull it off, mate.
However you pull it off is your business completely. Iris is then pretty much forced to blog on her site so that Barry finds out about Tony and where he's been. Once again, Barry goes over to the foundry where Gerda is, gets his ass kicked again. Back at Star Labs, they actually do the math and try and work out how they can beat Gerda. And Barry basically has to run for 5.3 miles, break Mark 1. And
hit Mark 1.2.
Mark 1.1 or something like that. That's I
Hit
think
him on
it's
a specific angle too.
yeah, and a specific angle to actually beat him.
Or else he's going to disintegrate.
Yeah,
isn't
he disintegrates. If the angle is off by 1 degree, he disintegrates. Just
Yeah.
poof, gone. Back at the CCPD, Eddie and Barry end up doing some boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Have a bit more bonding time, so their friendship's developing
I
nicely.
actually like that scene.
It's actually a really good scene. I think it's a fact for you. It's the Eddie Thorne is near on topless. I think that's why you like it.
He's not. Look, he's no Dan Hedaya. Stop putting words in my mouth there. I've never said Eddie Thorne is my man.
Not yet. Is
So far, nobody on this show has been my man. Okay. Actually, I take that back. Harrison Wells, he's my man.
Harrison Wells is your
He's
man.
my man on Flash.
Okay, cool. So basically, Eddie reveals to Barry that he wasn't liked at school because his dad was a politician and closed, I think it was a factory in the school district.
Yeah.
So he was picked on a lot by the kids because their dads lost their jobs and that sort of stuff. So his school life was pretty horrid, similar to Barry's.
Mm-hmm.
Iris gets kidnapped by Gerda and gets taken to the school. Later at school, we have Tony says to Iris that he's killed the streak. There's a new big man on campus. Write about me because I've got a thing for you. Iris goes, oh yeah, cool. Goes up to sort of give him a bit of a pash, but pulls the fire alarm instead, which alerts the police to what's going on. Detective West turns to Barry and says, you better get over there. Barry gets over there. Has
How
a bit
fast does he do it quickly?
he does it at a moderate pace, and that's I'm kind of disappointed about. So they have a bit of a fight. It doesn't really work out in Barry's favour, and then Barry runs off. And then you can hear Caitlin and Cisco asking him, "Oh, what are you doing? You're running away. That's cool. No worries." He stops 5.3 miles away.
The exact distance.
And then
you need to get.
Cisco proceeds to cream his pants with what's going to happen, reinforcing the fact that Cisco is that guy at the bar who always wants you to drink with him.
He just wants to see the sonic boom.
And we get to see the sonic boom. So
The
as
Flash
we're
has
going-
officially broken the sound barrier
He's
now.
officially broken the sound barrier, and he knocks. This is what kind of killed it for me. He knocks Girder
I
on
know
his
what you're
ass.
going to say here.
Knocks Girder on his ass, right? With the sonic boom punch, and then
Iris punches him out.
yep, he's laying on the floor. Iris comes along and puts Tony on his ass. Now
Yeah.
that's fine that Iris has been taught by her old man how to fight, but I don't understand why it took Barry to 5.3 miles to hit Mark 1, punch this dude in the jaw. He's not laid out, and then like a 75-pound girl comes along and goes crack, and he's out. He's done.
'Cause him doing that was supposed to weaken him.
Not to that point though.
Yeah, true.
Like if you look at it, that's Tony's huge. He's a big boy.
I'm just going to leave.
thing
I
that
have
got
a
me is
really,
that he's just
really wrong
broken the
joke I
sound
could make here,
barrier.
and I won't.
Yeah.
He charged through these doors to the school, and the doors just open for him when he's going. Like he charges through, he hits the doors just open.
Yeah, they
They
open
didn't
beautifully.
disintegrate, they open.
Yeah, just boop. But anyway, yeah. So the next scene is Gerda wakes up in the pipeline, and Barry gets his own back by saying, "You've known who I am."
That's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, it will. Hardcore.
Hard and fat.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's done that. He's had his little gloating. But earlier on, there is a part that I skipped over, which was earlier on in the episode. There was a part between Harrison Wells and Detective West, Black Lance, in a pub having a bit of a chat, and West pretty much asks Wells if he's a speedster and where was he before Central City and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, Wells basically says that there is no way they can have been a speedster before because the only way that you could create them was with a particle accelerator, and
dark matter and a big boom.
he's like, I'm the only one that's ever turned one on. So
Yeah. So that also raises another question for later on episodes, which we're going to enjoy thoroughly.
oh yeah.
And in closing, the closing scene was West at home drinking his scotch. I think it's about his 6th or 7th for the episode.
I
It's
just want to ask, are
ridiculous.
you sure that it was scotch and it wasn't the finest, smoothest malt liquor?
I didn't see Billy D. Williams anywhere there advertising it, so it's probably not in that universe. So it's probably not malt liquor. It's probably just scotch.
Disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Sitting
He
there
must
with,
not be completely black.
True. So he's there with all the case files on his desk, scotch, going through. Then all of a sudden we see Red Lightning, I'm pretty sure it is.
It's red lightning.
Red Lightning, and whirling around, and a man in a yellow suit
with red eyes.
with red eyes. Yep. So, and then that all disappears. All his case notes are gone. The laptop's gone. His scotch is there in his notepad. That is it.
And his glass.
There's scotch.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And pans up to the wall with a picture of Iris, and it says "Stop or else." I'm pretty sure.
Stop or she. Yeah, it was basically.
I think
a
it's "Stop
threat
or
of-
else" with a knife through the photo of Iris.
Yeah,
his
that
daughter.
might have been it.
So that's where it ended on that one. I don't remember if there was a flashback scene.
No,
I don't believe
no.
that.
This was
Yeah.
the first one to not end with Harrison Wells,
Yeah.
which is the internet's been going nuts over because they're all like, "That means he's Reverse Flash." He's not Reverse Flash.
No, it can't be reverse flash.
I've got my money on who Reverse Flash is.
Okay.
But it's just funny, just before I get to that, it's funny that you bring up the lightning, because that's something I noticed. I went back and watched the pilot episode.
Yeah, it's two colors.
Well, not just that. When Barry's saved, Barry's saved by yellow lightning.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and there is actually, if you read the comics, in the comics, Reverse Flash and Flash actually do race each other through time. So it makes sense that if he's there trying to kill his mother, that if Flash would end up back there trying to stop it, and
Yeah.
so on
Failing
and
so
so forth.
saves himself.
Yeah, exactly. I personally am of the belief, though, that we're going to find out that Reverse Flash is Eddie Thorne's dad,
Possibly.
just because the whole, it's just maybe it's the writer side of my brain coming out. I don't know, but whenever anybody goes, yeah, this was my dad, he was a politician, he did this, and it would it clearly upset people, my brain's automatically like, you just gave us a piece of exposition that we need to remember.
Yeah.
Why is your dad so important?
Yep.
Well, if you're Eddie Thorne, and I'm willing to bet that by the sounds of it, your dad's one of those Republican conservative types who, as we saw in The Flash a few weeks ago, have won the Senate in America. He's one of them, so he'll be Eddie Jr.
Yeah. Absolutely.
and his dad will be Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
I'm almost willing to bet that.
Is Reverse Flash and Doctor Zoom the same character, or is it just
No,
two different
guys.
species?
Yeah, two different dudes.
Okay. Cool. I'm with you now.
And I also have a theory, or a further theory. I've been thinking, obviously, about who Wells could possibly be, as I do every week, because it's the most frustrating part of The Flash.
Yeah.
I'm of a slight belief that he could be Jay Garrick. I know that killing doesn't make sense, but if let's say, for instance, Jay Garrick was the original
Who's
Flash.
the first Flash?
Yeah, the tinfoil,
Yep.
Achilles-looking
Yep.
Yep.
Flash. Now, let's say that you were a speedster at one point and you lost your powers. You would protect the other speedster, but if you know that that person can access the Speed Force again, wouldn't it make sense that you would do whatever you could to get to that person to get?
Yep.
Now, I know that the possible future tech and all that might not make sense unless he lost his powers by running through time.
Yeah.
Or something, but he's the only, to me, aside from the people I've mentioned of Pariah, Pariah's my only other, Pariah or the Monitor are the only two that make sense for me besides that, because he's not villainous enough to actually be Zoom or any of those people. It just doesn't fit for me. It doesn't make sense for me to be any of them, but he's obviously not squeaky.
No, he's not squeaky clean.
The other one I have heard, the other thing I've read online, and you two can tell me your thoughts of this, is that he's actually Barry Allen from the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's still the killing. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
still
don't know.
Well, there is actually a series of comics. I can't remember like when or why, but I know there was a part where Barry kind of went mental and lost his powers and was killing people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, from the mental stress of having lost it all, he snapped.
Yeah.
So, so yeah.
I think, I'm liking the Flash. The fact that it keeps asking questions, the fact that it's frustrating the hell out of you, means
It's a
for
good
me-
thing. That's well written.
Yeah, that's what I'm enjoying.
If you can frustrate me, it's good because it means I can't see where you're going, and that's the problem I have with a lot of TV and a lot of movies. Is I'll sit through films in particular that are 2 hours long. I'm at like the 25-minute mark, where I'm almost throwing my hands up like, well, you just gave away who the killer is just based on script writing 101.
Yeah.
Whereas these shows, you sit there and you go, okay, the TV trope states that this is the person.
Yep.
And it's like the writers of both Flash and Arrow just enjoy going, who's it say did it? Fuck that. Spin the wheel and make it random as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's just it. One thing I did notice in this episode, that Firestorm got a large mention.
oh yeah, he's coming very soon.
He's very soon. Was it Barry refers to him as the man on fire, the Burning Man at some point?
yeah.
So that was a nice little intro. Also, Iris doing the intros, like the voiceover.
Yep.
That works for me better than Barry.
I didn't even notice that.
She's done it the last 2 weeks, I think it is.
Yeah, right.
And for me, sometimes Barry just sounds like a surfer dude who just is pretty smart. And
Yeah.
It just sounds
Yeah, he does.
like 1990s Californian surfer. Like, excuse me, I'm gonna go surfing, but first
Whoa.
I'm gonna go do some rollerblading with my cool friends. He's got that. annoying-
Da-na-na-na-na.
yeah, basically.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Pretty much. It's just he's got one of those voices that really shit me some days. It's like he's doing a really good job as Barry Allen, but sometimes it's like, shut up, dude. Just run really fast. That's just do that. Let
Just
Iris
run.
just run, Barry, run. That's just. I like Iris doing the intro because it's actually a nice soft intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes for me a lot more sense, especially where Wally West fits into it.
Yeah.
And my other concern is Detective West developing a severe drinking problem? 7 scotches in the one episode. I'm not kidding. Up from 3 the week before. We saw what happened to Lance.
Well, he is falling
It's had a rough
apart.
few
He is
weeks.
falling apart because he has convicted somebody, like one of his best friends, wrongly of murder.
yeah, but that's
With
only
that said, though, firstly, that is how cops deal with problems like that. They do drink in real life.
Yeah.
But 2, also, anthropologically speaking,
What are you, Dr. Brennan from
We
Bones?
are-
Wrong TV series, man.
we are brought up by our influences around us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not casting dispersions here, but I'm just saying that the likelihood that Joe West came from a low socioeconomical family is quite high, which means he probably had a parent or a grandparent who was on the source where that's how they dealt with it. So it's an ingrained piece of learning for him.
Oh, okay, interesting.
It's the same way like my parents basically deal with things by being awesome. So I've learnt by proxy, and so when anything goes wrong, I just become more awesome than I was before.
I haven't
and
seen
deal
any
with
evidence
it.
of that whatsoever.
Batman gets better each time, just like me.
Oh, God. If you legally change your name to, like, Kevin Conroy, I'm just going to lose my shit.
I'm going to legally change my name to I'm not Batman. Stop asking me questions. I do want to name my child Bruce Wayne, though. I don't know if that's...
My firstborn son's going to be Jim Gordon, so...
Are you serious?
I've almost
Do
snuck
it.
that. I've
Holy
almost
shit.
stuck that under the radar a couple of times. Like, what about James Gordon? She's like, oh yeah, that works. Wait a minute.
I'm still hoping for Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, like 7 or 8, I decided I wanted to name a kid something that was just fucked up that you would have no way of being able to spell. So I decided I was going to give my kid a musical name, and I was going to call it Mahamanamana Mahafa Mahafana. Just for shits and giggles. The things we do as an 8-year-old child.
Things we do it as a 30-year-old child. I mean,
Well, that's right. Well, speaking of a 30-year-old child who likes to run around his city dressed in tights, Braden, why don't you take us through Arrow for this week?
All right. So this week we had the episode 8 called Draw Back Your Bow. I'm going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to do the Hong Kong Rewind.
Yep.
I'm going to do the
Can I
rest.
just quickly interject before you do your thing?
yes.
Yeah.
I would like to point out there's actually a song called Cupid, Draw Back Your Bow.
Do that? Yeah.
And when you put these 2 episodes together and who they're about, it's Cupid, Call Back My Bow. Anyway, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, so I'm doing this in 2 parts because last week was just a head fuck. So I'll start with the Hong Kong Rewind. So the first part we see on that, we rewind to Oliver in Hong Kong, his day kicking off with Tatsu reminding Oliver how much she doesn't like having him around the house. Maceo heads out to check out some new intel for Waller. He says he'll only be gone for an hour. We find out later that Maceo is late coming home by about 8 hours. Oliver and Tatsu plan to go out looking for him. In trying to track down her husband with Oliver, Tatsu reveals herself to be a totally awesome martial artist. One of the mobsters she beats down tells her it's likely Maceo was killed a few hours earlier. Tatsu and Oliver return to find Maceo waiting for them. He wasn't killed after all. So that was all there was for the Hong Kong Rewind.
Yeah, it was fairly light on the flashbacks this time,
It was.
which makes me think they're probably building up to something.
Yeah, well, there was a big sort of, I guess for people who didn't know, reveal for her with her sword and what she can do. So,
Her amazing ninja assassin skills.
yep. So that was probably the big part of that. But anyways, into the Starling City side of things. So we kick off with a bit of an origin story of Cupid, the female archer we saw at the end of last week's show. It turns out she was saved by Arrow last season during the battle with Slade's Mirakuru'd up army. Her name is Carrie Cutter, and she ended up killing Stansler as a present to Arrow. Felicity and Palmer's relationship is taking a turn for the romantic, beginning with her watching him do the salmon ladder topless.
Isn't the quote, oh no, I have a type, at that point in time?
Yeah, I think so. He then says he needs her at a special dinner related to the cogeneration project and shows her a 5-figure dress he bought for her, which she dribbles all over. Arrow watches a TV press conference where Palmer announces he's changing the name of Queen Consolidated to Palmer Technologies. Felicity is standing next to him on the podium at the press conference. Later on, Cupid lures Arrow to an apartment where she speaks to him directly. She's a huge fan / stalker and wants to join up as a partner. She sends him the image of a man who is going to be her next victim and tells Arrow to hurry. His name's Joe Gravano and he's a local mob boss. Felicity tells Oliver about her work dinner thing with Palmer. It doesn't go over well with Oliver.
Oh, there he is
There it
again.
is. There it is.
Drive by.
Every
Oh,
time.
damn. There goes the lounge room. That was like a block away. I can't believe how clear that was.
That's a quality mic you've got there.
Thea runs into the world's cockiest DJ and she tells him she won't hire him without an audition. He leaves. Oliver finally remembers Cupid's face and Felicity digs up photos of her at multiple crime scenes. Felicity connects her to a flower shop. At the shop, Cupid quickly knocks out Arsenal. Again, she professes her love for the Arrow and manages to get away after forcing Arrow to save Gavano, who was strapped to a bomb. Oliver tells Diggle that he's totally fine with Felicity spending tons of time with Palmer, which is clearly not. Diggle mentions this to Felicity, who assures him nothing is going on with her and Palmer. Arrow pays a visit to the psychiatrist who treated Cupid following an earlier stalking situation that led to her leaving the police force. She advises him to be honest or Cupid will know it. Cupid learns via a computer-savvy buddy that the Arrow's home base is somewhere near the Verdant nightclub. Then she, of course, stabs him in the neck with an arrowhead. Lance finds his body and calls Arrow with the heads up.
Of course.
The DJ Thea hired didn't work out. Mr. Cocky shows up to save the day. Felicity dazzles at the dinner meeting and seals the purchase of the mines that Palmer is after. Oliver learns that Cupid is at Verdant. He calls her and sets up a meeting away from the club. Some of this conversation revolves around Arrow's desire that he must always be alone. Felicity and Diggle hear this back at HQ. Arrow and Cupid fight, which ends up in her handcuffing him to the subway tracks and electing to die alongside him, but Arrow breaks free last minute and saves both their lives. Back at Verdant, Thea and DJ kiss after he turns down his fee for the night. Cocky prick. Diggle recommends Oliver go after Felicity. He arrives at her office just in time to see her make out with Palmer. Afterwards, we watch Palmer look at the superhero outfit he's been designing for himself. At which point I jizzed.
Where? In your pants?
Before I say what we end up with, there was also a part where they sent off Cupid to join the Suicide Squad, replacing Harley Quinn, as they indirectly mentioned.
Yep.
Even crazy. She was even crazier than the last she was in it.
I don't know. Harley Quinn's all sorts of crazy.
Yeah, she's pretty messed up, that woman. But the episode ends with a sneak peek at Captain Boomerang. We see him stop another gentleman in the street from behind. He pulls out a boomerang, throws it at him. It flies past him, then swings around and embeds itself in the victim's back.
That's got to be part of the crossover.
It is part of the crossover.
Oh, confirmed. Can you confirm Half-Life 3 for me as well?
No.
No, damn it.
I noticed some things in this episode. First of all, I really liked Cupid because it's based on the comic book character and they got it pretty damn close, considering her entire point is just to
get
Arrow. She wants Arrow.
She wants the A.
Yeah. She wants the A's D.
Without the I.
Well, she wants it in her, so that would be the I. She wants AID, Arrow... No, ADI. Arrow's dick in her. A D, huh?
I was trying to avoid the AIDS reference, but that's fine. You went
anyway, what else did I notice in this episode that was interesting? Oh, yes, I liked the fact that you could see the fact that Felicity's pants got ridiculously soaked the minute Ray was like... She's like, oh, what is this, $1 million necklace? He's like, actually, I think it's 10 million.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to let this guy's dick in me tonight.
At that point in time...
It's happening.
You'd expect that. If you handed over $10 million worth of necklace,
yeah, but it's Ray Palmer. Once again, they get to the end of the night and he's all like, I got a computer to look at. I don't have time for you. She sealed one deal. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. He's almost like the Dr. Manhattan, really. Just like he's off doing something. He's got like a cyborg clone doing her or something. Or two.
I've got a feeling that he's going to be slightly, not evil, but somehow he's going to make a fuck up. And that fuck up is what's going to turn him into a hero.
Yeah, it'll be the Adam
instead
suit.
Of the propaganda. I reckon it's going to be the OMAX person.
Oh no, yeah, that was the word I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this was a pretty solid episode overall. I have noticed something else though. Diggle
took off his mask.
Oh, yeah, once again, just fix it up for 1 week. The next week, I'm going to kill all these motherfuckers anyways. It don't matter. This is my face, man. Diggle always says the word man. Yeah. And then he's like, oh man, I know you're still in love with Felicity, man. But man, you got to be a man, Ollie. Man steps up to being a man, and he doesn't let his woman go off with another man, man. Know what I'm saying, man?
Unless the woman portraying that woman is actually with Arsenal. And then, no.
Yeah, but that's okay, man, because she's still with a man in our team, man, and not some outside man from another man's world coming into our man's world, man, and trying to hit on our woman, man. Ollie, man.
He is.
I'll be in the car without my mask.
And then he struts away with some bass playing in the background. It's like Shaft. He's like a large version of Shaft. Don't ever. Can you not do that ever again? Can you just edit in a sound effect, please, next time?
There you go. Sound effect for you.
No, I think we keep saying the same thing over and over and over again with these three TV series.
That's
solid.
because they're solid.
No, it's
they're building
just
up.
solid.
The thing. We're just stuck in the build up.
It's just, yeah.
We're in the, like I said last week, this is the front half of
Yeah.
the season,
Yeah.
and now we're about to go into the breaks for them.
I think
or
we get the
heading into
crossover
breaks.
just before the break as well,
Yeah.
don't we? So that's going to be fucking
And then when we
annoying.
come back from the break, it's 3 episodes of Canary.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking forward to the Canaries.
So am
Canary
I.
as well.
Because I think it's
I'm
Have you
not
seen
getting
the costume?
Yes.
yeah,
Looks pretty cool.
legit.
Yeah.
Looks pretty dope.
But we're still no closer to knowing who killed Sarah. With that said, though, this week's episode, from what I gather, is Ra's al Ghul coming in and saying you've got 24 hours to find who killed her. Or I'm just going to go. Sorry, I shouldn't call him. I'm calling him Raz. I actually had this question.
Raish, yeah.
I had this question asked me during the week once again by Mr. CrossFit, and he wanted to know, was it pronounced Raish or Raz? The technical actual pronunciation is Raish.
Yeah.
I have looked that up. It is Raish. However, because in this show they're calling him Raz, I'm just referring to him as Raz
Yeah.
for the lack of confusion.
Yeah.
Because that's sadly what they've decided to call the character, because Americans are just like, it's an apostrophe, yo!
Yeah. Yeah, it can't be an accent of any sort, can it?
He's from the Middle East. That's how they talk there. I've been to the Middle East. It's Ohio. Man.
Nah,
Well,
it's...
yeah. Is there anything else to say about Arrow for the week? Apart from that, we're just building up, and it's getting to a nice crescendo, and I'm ready for that powder keg to explode.
Yeah.
It is. It's, yeah. I'd like to see if they do maybe another Suicide Squad episode and see how that plays out with her in it as well. That'd be interesting to see.
I think that by the looks of it, the end of the season definitely involves Lila, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Suicide Squad involvement.
Yeah.
Because all the promo stuff has Lila on it. Oh, that was the other thing that I saw during the week. I don't know if you saw this, Braden. I was telling Terry about this earlier. During an interview with Stephen Amell, he was actually asked the question, in a fight between Barry Allen, the Flash, Oliver Queen, the Arrow, and John Diggle, the black man without a
The
mask,
digs.
who would win? And he was like, Diggle. Hands down, Diggle.
Would be a fun little spin on the CWDC universe where Diggle becomes Cyborg.
I think that would lower his powers.
Yeah, pretty much. He is Diggle at the moment.
I think Diggle is Steel. They just need to put him in the suit and just be like, I'm going to hit bitches with my hammer, man.
Basically, just pushed up. Gone. Yeah, we're done.
You couldn't give him his own show because most of the subtitle people would be losing the M, A, and N key would be worn out. And now it's time for the Diggle show. Man, I've been coming in here, man. I've been saying stuff, man.
Oh, God. It's like black
Bro.
black exploitation theatre all over again.
All right, well, that leads us into our feature presentation for the night.
This Christmas, for the first time, America's most exciting and legendary motion picture hero comes to the screen like you've never seen him before. The Bat! In an all-new, larger-than-life feature film. Now, the Dark Knight confronts his newest and most menacing villain.
Your angel of death awaits.
The Phantasm.
I want you.
And faces his greatest danger.
Can't be too careful with all those weirdos around.
A soaring new adventure. Batman. Mask of the Phantasm. The animated movie. Coming for a Christmas you'll never forget.
Yay! I'm so happy. I can't describe how happy I am. Why? Because Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. That is...
I'm really glad that we're doing a show that involves word descriptions, and you're all like, I just can't describe it. I just left it. You there at home, I'd like to describe this to you, but I just can't. So fuck you.
Oh, God, he's so angry.
All the time.
Just
It's how I
dye
live my
your
life.
hair brunette or blonde. Please don't be a
It's
ginger
how I
nut
live
anymore.
My life angry all the time. I'm working on an ulcer, man. It's coming for me. I'm working on an ulcer, man. You ain't seen the shit I've seen, man. I got a newborn kid at home, Oliver. I can't deal with this, man. All right, you guys ready for the synopsis of Mask of the Phantasm?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, the year was 1993, and I was a young man still coming into his own, and I got to see this at the cinemas. True story. Got released at the cinemas. It was the only animated one to actually get released at the cinemas. It had a $6 million budget, and it didn't make it back. It was about $500,000 short of making its budget back, so Warner Brothers was all like, well, this motherfucker can't be in cartoons no more. All right, the plot for this film. During a conference of crime bosses held in a Gotham City skyscraper, gangster Chucky Soul is killed by a mysterious cloaked figure. Shortly after, Batman bursts in on the meeting. But it's too late, as I've said, he's already dead. Due to the killer's resemblance to Batman, the Dark Knight is blamed for Soul's death. Councilman Arthur Reeves tells the media that Batman is a public menace, and despite Jim Gordon's protests, he then decides that Batman will be manhunted as a vigilante. Later on, he attends a party at the house of billionaire Bruce Wayne, and Reeves teases Bruce about his bad luck with women and for having allowed his previous girlfriend, Andrea Beaumont, to get away from him. In a flashback 10 years before, we see that Bruce meets Andrea in a cemetery whilst visiting his parents' grave. That night, in one of his first attempts at fighting crime, he puts on a ski mask and stops a car robbery. And even though it's a success, he is discouraged because the criminals did not fear him. They laughed at him. Around the same time, he begins his romance with Andrea, and eventually Bruce decides to abandon his plans to become a crime-fighting vigilante and proposes marriage to Andrea. Soon afterwards, however, Andrea mysteriously leaves Gotham with her father, Carl Beaumont, ending her engagement to Bruce in a Dear John letter. Believing that he has lost his last chance at having a normal life and love, Bruce dons the mask of Batman for the first time. Now, the mysterious killer finds another gangster, Buzz Bronski. Excellent name there. Love the alliteration. Around the same time, Batman discovers that Andrea has returned to Gotham for the first time in 10 years. Batman soon finds evidence linking Andrea's father with gangster Salvatore Valestra, for whom both Soul and Bronski once worked as enforcers. The killer later targets Valestra, who turns to the Joker for help, which is always a brilliant idea, let me tell you that. The killer arrives at Valestra's house to find the gangster's already dead. The Joker, of course, killed him. The house then explodes and the killer barely escapes. Batman pursues this killer, but is interrupted by the police, who believe Batman is responsible for all the murders. Andrea rescues Batman in a car, speeding him away from an exploding factory where he's been severely fucked up by the cops, and they spend the night together in Wayne Manor. Oh yeah. Andrea explains to Bruce that she and her father had been hiding in Europe from the Valestra mob, to whom he owed a lot of money, and Batman comes to suspect that Andrea's father may in fact be the mysterious killer. But later gets Reeves, who is under the influence of Joker's poison and tied up in hospital laughing his fucking mind off, to confess that he knew all along that Batman was innocent and that he told the Valestra mob where Beaumont was hiding in return for campaign contributions, and that the mob ordered Beaumont's death. The killer tracks the Joker to his hideout, an abandoned World's Park amusement fair, and removes its ominous costume. The killer is Andrea, intent on avenging her father's death at the hands of the Joker, who is revealed to be the last surviving member and the professional hitman of the Valestra mob. Batman arrives and saves Andrea from the Joker and begs Andrea to give up her quest for revenge. She refuses, stating that the mob ruined her life by taking away her future with him. She tells Batman that he himself is driven by revenge before disappearing. Batman battles with the Joker, a struggle that ends in a stalemate. Moments later, Andrea returns and seizes the Joker, bidding Batman goodbye before vanishing with the maniacally laughing Clown Prince of Crime in a cloud of smoke as the entire amusement park erupts in a series of rigged explosions. Batman barely escapes by falling into the waterway and being swept away to the safety by the current. Alfred later consoles a heartbroken Bruce, telling him that no one could have helped Andrea. Bruce finds a locket containing a picture of himself and Andrea left behind in the Batcave. Meanwhile, Andrea is shown standing alone on the deck of a departing ocean liner. In the final scene, Batman stands alone on top of a Gotham building when the bat signal appears in the sky and he swings off into the night to continue his war on crime. And that's Mask of the Phantasm. What did... Well, I'll start with you, Braden, because I already know that Terry's going to come fucking unglued at some point here. So, what did you think of Mask of the Phantasm?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was... Well, with Batman and Bruce Wayne, I think that was a very different... like, he was a lot more, I guess, emotional. You're seeing a lot more of him, I guess, as a human being rather than Batman. You know, with all of these emotions and conflicts going on in his head and stuff like that, which you don't really see a whole lot of.
Yeah, especially in the movies.
Probably the first Batman origin story I've ever seen that you don't actually see his parents get killed.
Which was great.
Yep. Yep.
I think it's sort of focused on from that point and working out, you know, what he was actually going to do rather than see, you know, happen.
All of a sudden, bam. Yeah.
Joker was fantastic. I love
God,
Mark
wasn't he?
Hamill as Joker. Love Mark Hamill as Joker. He's fucking fantastic.
Manic to the degree. It's commitment to your part right there.
He's crazy.
It is. On whole, though, the movie was pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of the end. It just sort of went like, what happened there? I couldn't work it out. Like,
it ends more like a TV show episode than a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything explodes and she disappears with Joker and he's fine. You see she's alive. You don't know if she killed Joker or if Joker got away or anything like that. You just don't know. Like, I don't know, that kind of annoyed me a little bit. But
I think the implication is she killed the Joker.
Yeah,
that's what I took away from the implication is this is a standalone one-shot kind of deal, and she killed the Joker.
Yep.
She killed everybody else, so there's no question in my mind she killed the Joker, now she's getting out of Dodge.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's about all I have to say about it, really. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I got to say, I got a few notes about it before I get into them. I will say out of all the ones we've watched so far, including 66, this is probably the one I've actually enjoyed the most. Like you say, I like the fact Bruce Wayne is more human in it, or I guess his inflection and his tone becomes softer, and he's almost a gentler person as Bruce.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that as Batman, he's not just punchy kicky.
Yeah.
He's a detective. Like, he's looking at clues, he's investigating stuff. He's actually having to join dots. He's not just like, where's the problem? Let me punch it.
Yeah. What's that? You have cancer? Where? Just punch.
Yeah. What is that? A shark? Let me punch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's.
So yeah. Well, I'll give you my notes for the film. I'll go second for a change and let Terry let you have the jizz wrap up. My first note was 90s intro.
Yeah, very.
You can tell this came from the 90s with the music and the fact the intro goes for about 45 fucking minutes, longer than a Bond intro.
Or a Tim Burton intro for that.
I will say this, though. The music in this thing was incredible. Yeah. Incredible. Up until the end song, which had jazz in it, which came out of nowhere. And funnily enough, was sung by Tia Korea, who's famous for being Wayne's girlfriend in Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm.
So, true story. The Dreamweaver sang that one.
Yep.
I loved at the beginning when Batman busts into the room where all the mob bosses are, and there's a dude like underneath a table, and he just stomps the table down on the dude to knock him unconscious. I was like, that's Batman, man. Not need to kill the guy, but properly like
just knock him.
Fuck you. I like that. I love the fact, that the cops and the mayor, everybody, Batman's to blame for this, except for the fact that clearly he's been doing this for at least a year, I would say. And so that means that by this point he's got a clear signature and a clear MO, which none of this crime matches. Mm-hmm. So it must be Batman. It's once more we see the epicness of the police force in Gotham shines through as always.
Absolutely.
Bruce and Alfred in this film are perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. Even when Alfred gets annoyed at him, you know, he's like, "Well, I wouldn't know anything about you, would I? I've only been diapering you."
So he made that same comment in The Dark Knight Rises as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, that's
exact same comment. He said, "I diapered your bum. I should bloody well know you," or something like that.
Yeah, that's the infamous scene where you hate. That's the scene that you hate. Well, I can't
in The
watch
Dark
it
Knight Rises.
Yeah, that's mentioned in there.
The thing I noticed about this film was that it was clearly set in the 30s, yet somehow at the same time it felt kind of futuristic. I don't know how they managed that. Yeah. But it really they really seem to manage to capture that timeless essence of you know.
That's the funny thing about the Batman animated series that I've always loved, and I grew up with this series as a child.
Yeah.
Like, this was obviously a standalone movie, but the drawing techniques of the Warner Brothers back here was always something that stayed with me. That's probably why I like Tim Burton's Batman in regards to the set design and music, because for me that always plays a huge part in any Batman movie.
Yep.
So the fact that they do nail that timeless thing, especially the Warner Brothers cartoon, even in Batman Beyond,
Yep.
still looks timeless.
Yeah.
Because it's that 50s, 30s element.
Yeah, definitely.
So
as you were talking about this, this possibly based on year one, or it had elements of that.
Yeah.
The comic, for me, felt very based on. It's one of my favorite comics, which is Year 2.
Yep.
Very underappreciated comic, but the storyline's basically the same thing. Where years before Batman was on the scene, there was a vigilante killer called the Reaper, and now it's Batman's second year as Batman, and the Reaper appears to come back, but the Reaper isn't afraid to kill. So Batman actually has to strap on a gun, which is the same gun that killed his parents, and that's what he uses to take down.
Yep.
Ultimately, he uses it to stop the Reaper, but it's instead of being, it looks all along like it's actually the daughter, but it's the father in the Year 2 comic.
Yeah.
So they kind of played that on its head a little bit, which I thought was interesting here. Did anybody else notice the fact that the Asian chick just had solid black eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers are like that.
when they're all mulling around Bruce and being like, "Why don't you get a husband? Why don't you have sex with me?" This Asian chick comes over and she's just got like oval-shaped eyes that are just solidly black, like an alien.
Yep.
I thought that was fascinating, which I love. Oh, once again, this film sums up that Batman really does need to look into chemical castration because his one weakness is women.
Yeah.
Literally, kryptonite is women.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just all you need. Just, the Joker should just be like, "Harley, take your panties off and get in there." He'd be like, "No, my pants, bat pants, falling off.
They don't fit,
Commissioner." Oh yeah, I kept waiting for the Phantasm to be like, "You have failed this city," all the time. I was so ready for that.
Yeah.
It was great. I liked when they go to the future fair that he sees that car and gets like, "Oh, like that's a great looking car," and then it's the Batmobile.
Yeah.
That was, I was just like, man, you look at it from a scientific, or I guess a psychological standpoint, when people do things like becoming Batman, you draw on things that you know.
Yeah.
He becomes a bat because that's what he knows he's scared of.
Yeah.
And I love the fact he sees his car and he's like, that's my car.
Yeah.
And that's when he turns into his car. I'm just like, that, because that's how he's not just going to be at home and be like, "I drew up this sketch."
Yeah.
Out of no, like, he's going to have to practically, like, the Batmobile, I imagine in real life, will be like, "Well, this wing is here to allow me to take this particular speed and to not flip and all of that."
Yep.
But he's still going to be based on something. I don't think he's sitting there
Yeah.
diagramming everything fresh. So
Yeah.
I like that
Labeling
element of
bat
it.
wheel, bat brake,
Yes.
bat handbrake.
Well, in the 1960s, he was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked, like you said, I liked the fact that this isn't just, we're going to see his parents getting killed. This seems to deal with that moment we never see in the comics of, which makes so much sense of, I'm just about to do the heaviest thing I'm going to do and I'm scared and I'm falling apart.
Yep.
And he's there at his parents' grave breaking down, begging them like, please don't make me be Batman.
Yeah.
Just let me be normal. I didn't think I was going to feel happy.
Yeah.
And it's this heartbreaking moment, but it's, to me, it makes him even more of a hero because that is something I can believe. Like, it's, you look at even the Jesus parables.
Yeah.
Jesus goes into the desert the night before his crucifixion and cries.
Yeah.
Because he's just so scared of because he knows there's no turning back.
Yeah.
And that's the same moment with Bruce of that. If I put on that mask, there is no turning back.
Yeah.
Yep. And I really like that. I like that they really, like, Kevin Conroy just really captured so much emotion.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The Joker's actually really funny in this. I really appreciate that. He's really funny, yet he's also insanely evil.
Yeah.
When he when he's killing that mob boss, and he's all giddy and joking around, then suddenly he's just like, "You won't be," and you're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So I really liked that. I also liked Andrew, the way that Andrea and Batman, like, once she knows he's Bruce,
Yeah, the back and forth.
they have that fight with each other, and I'm just like, this is the most realistic fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, well,
just
is
like
that the one where
lovers.
the line comes, the only one who's controlled by the parents is you? Is
Yeah,
that,
she says that thing, like, I'm like, wow, yeah,
Wow,
that's and only somebody, like, you know, and then the fact she gets upset afterwards, I'm like, this is how people who are, like, with repressed emotions actually act.
Yeah.
Because you can't put out what you want to say, so you just spew forth venom instead. This script in this thing is tight as hell. Tim Burton should have got some of these guys.
No, I think this was written after the Tim Burton one, so they looked at Tim Burton's, went, nope.
Yep. Did anybody else notice that the SWAT team went full video game and go hot, 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 hot,
Yeah.
lemmings, 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 lemmings.
It must be well drilled.
It was
That's what
amazing,
that is.
and they're all in red as well.
Yeah, they're all in like that
I was
weird
like,
red.
Should we
yeah.
wear black? No, our guys wear red. Easy targets, mate. They're fun.
Okay. Unless it's a Deadpool theory where they're red suits, so the bad guys don't know they're bleeding.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
Maybe
wearing
that's
brown
it.
pants.
I liked Alfred's bad timing in this film.
Oh god.
He's just constant like walking in with trays of fit. Oh, my Master Bruce is getting it on with a lady. I'd better leave. Which is different to the other Alfreds that we noticed who are normally pervs. They're walking in like, I've got the roofies, Master Bruce. This Bruce does it. This is 1930. He didn't need the roofies. He was just like, I've got $1 million. Have you ever seen $1 million? Have you seen $1?
Have you seen $1?
It becomes that scene in the middle end. Take it for your hat, boy.
It's $1.
I've never seen $1 bill before. I like the recurring gag in this that they did from the comics where, because it is a standalone, you don't have to tie it back. Batman punches Joker so hard he knocks out teeth.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it in the comics where he's always smashing Joker's teeth out. I
Yeah.
think it's great.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I really liked this Batman for that. Like I say, I got to the end and I'm like, wow, this was a really good movie. I was really enjoying that.
Yeah.
Kenny G came on and I was like, what the fuck?
Kenny G to that movie was like Prince to the first Batman. That's what that was. Okay, I just need to say that right now.
So if I put that through a filter instead of saxophone, it's just Prince going, party man, and they just turn into a saxophone.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
And just one final piece of trivia for my notes. This, at the time, and I believe still is only the second animated film to be nominated for a feature-length Academy Award.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
So there you go. So that's my review of it. Now I'm gonna hand the floor over, ladies and gentlemen. Before I do this, you may take if you're wearing earbuds, take them out.
Yeah.
Put a condom on them, put them back in, because Terry's about to get so excited that you may actually get ear fucked by this.
You may get pregnant. Okay. It's a very short, sharp, shiny review for this one for me because I grew up with Kevin Conroy as Batman.
It is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's this one better than 66?
Tons and tons because of Kevin Conroy. Okay. So Kevin Conroy's been Batman for the better part of 23 years. Actually, I think he's almost up to a quarter of a century. He's up to that point now. This is the Batman that I grew up and love.
Yep.
I saw these Batmans before I saw Batman and Batman Returns.
Yep.
Now, Kevin Conroy sets a very, very high standard for me as Bruce Wayne and Batman for the simple reason he brings a lot more emotional depth than any other Batman has.
Changes his voice quite considerably, yet still
sounds like Bruce. It's it's not the throat cancer that we've come to know and love with Christian Bale. It's not Adam West Batman where he's sultry and hitting on everything that moves. Okay,
Commissioner.
yeah, basically. And, I mean, the only one that can really do that for me is probably Michael Keaton, because he kind of changed it a little bit, but just enough.
By memory, I think next week we'll see Val Kilmer. I've got a feeling does it as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I haven't seen Val Kilmer for a very long time.
Neither have
I don't
I.
think anyone has seen Val Kilmer for a very long time.
No, there are people. They're called drive-through assistants.
Ah, okay, cool.
They've seen Val Kilmer a lot.
Lots. I think he ate Batman, actually, to be honest.
He ate the bat suit.
So, for me, the Kevin Conroy's the number one reason that I love this Batman, and I refer to it as this Batman for that reason. It's Kevin Conroy because he's gone for 25 years.
Yeah.
Joker, even though he was only in it for, say, a grand total
He's in half the film.
Yeah. All right. Mark Hamill is phenomenal. Whoever actually pitched, or if Mark Hamill had the balls to say, I want to voice the Joker, and did that, whoever said yes to him...
This was made after the animated series, so this was actually his... They'd done the animated series and wrapped it up.
First thing.
And this was... afterwards, they were like, do you want to come back and do this? And he was like, oh, hell yeah. But he said he'd do it on the condition that he could turn it up that little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it was a movie, not TV, and they let him. That's why his laugh's a little bit different, and he's that much more kind of intense.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they cast Mark Hamill for that Joker in general was a ballsy move, because you got Luke Skywalker and then Joker. Okay, that's pretty much, there was nothing really in between it, to my knowledge.
Darth Vader is the middle ground.
Yeah, Darth Vader was the middle ground. That's about it. So Mark Hamill is the other main reason I love this movie, because I've seen him do the voice acting. I've seen him in little YouTube clips, and it's phenomenal to watch Kevin and Mark go
Yep.
and run their lines together, even for the video games at their age. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. They still go harder than probably any other actor there.
Oh, yeah.
Right. For me, the storyline was phenomenal as well because, like you've said, it sort of does the year 2 thing.
Yeah.
I've seen year 1 and I actually really enjoyed that. It's not my favourite animated movie, but I really enjoy it, and that sort of ties in really neatly.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine that as year 2.
Yeah, definitely. I can
and-
absolutely agree with you on that.
And every relationship that's in this movie sort of feels like it could be an actual real
Yeah.
relationship like anyone would have.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was written phenomenally well, like you said. So it's basically just everything that I wanted in a Batman. It pretty much the music, set, the drawing style, everything. It brings back heaps of nostalgia,
Yep.
and just the cast is brilliant.
I gotta admit, I laughed pretty hard at the fact that in this film, Harvey Bullock's like a good, hard-working cop. And after watching Gotham, I was just like, I just wanted to be like, "What are you doing, man? You got any idea how much paperwork I gotta fill out? Just shoot him.
lunchtime.
I'm trying to drink my coffee.
Coffee. Air quotation, coffee.
It's after 10.
It's after 10. Somewhere.
Where's that fat bitch in the board?
But I mean, if hypothetically, if anyone's listening to this who hasn't seen an animated movie,
Oh, this would be the one I
this
would
would be the
start
one.
with.
Yeah, you start with because this very much sets the benchmark for Batman and Joker's relationship, and Batman's in general.
Now, something I'm going to point out in this, just because we brought up with the last 2 films, nowhere in this film is it implicitly stated, or does Batman say, "I don't kill"?
Okay, so what?
Yet his body count in this film is
Zot.
0.
So the thing is with Warner Brothers, because they're so closely tied with DC. I mean, you think about it, they've been closely tied since this movie. They would have
Well,
had
before
to.
this, they've been closely tied since Batman. Well, since they've been closely tied since Superman,
Yeah,
1978.
yeah. So basically, WB when they, I would imagine it would have gone down like this. WB goes to DC and says we want to make an animated movie. DC says yes, stay true to the law. Whereas Tim Burton I didn't really actually see DC's name on the Tim Burton movies or that. I didn't see the
No.
official logo, just based on the characters of DC and Bob Kane.
Yeah.
So with that, that's probably what I thought because the relationship WB and DC have is so strong.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, like even up to now, where you got Arkham City, Origins, Asylum, and Night coming out.
Yeah, that's,
So, yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I don't know what I guess the hard part about this film is that normally on this, I think what makes our podcast entertaining is the fact that we find things to shit on.
there is not a lot to shit on.
And
in
yeah, this film you're kind of like, wow, this was solid.
it's that,
And it's only so entertaining. You can hear 3 blokes being like, I really enjoyed this.
it's one of those annoying, like you turn on to SBS, like they used to have the old movie show when the two
Yeah.
people used to go at each other all the time. It's that rare movie that comes on going, well, it's
Yeah,
good.
we can't even
It's-
troll each other
you
because
can't.
it's like, I really enjoyed this. So did I. Want to have a hug? Okay.
Okay, fine. I'll be the
Simon
big
Hug.
spoon. No, so it was one of those things. I think it was one of the first examples of a female villain with a mask sort of thing, besides
Yeah.
Catwoman,
Yeah.
that Bruce was attached to. Because only after that I got Talia. Really, then again, she's more of an anti-hero than a villain. So she's like the character of the Phantasm. Phantasm, sorry, is a bit of a
Never called that in the film, though.
really.
Only in the end credits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't call her anything, really, did they?
He just calls her Andrea throughout it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
like,
it.
for me, she's sort of like a standalone villain almost.
Yeah. Well, like I
So
say, it's just a standalone
I don't
film. It's a
even-
one-shot
I don't
film.
really think she's a villain. She's more of an anti-hero
Yeah.
because there's no real rivalry.
She's just
between her-
angry.
Yeah, she's just angry.
She's Bruce without the composure, the discipline.
but
Bruce without Alfred,
Toys,
that's
though.
what it comes down to.
yeah, Alfred does seem to be the linchpin constantly in all these things.
Yeah, Alfred is just... as I'm getting older, Alfred is slowly becoming my most favourite character in everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just because as I get older, I'm become bitchier and bitchier, and I'm just like, I can see myself one day being like, oh, this is a fantastic idea.
So you're going to become a Cockney Englishman? Is that
Sure, why not?
teaches a young orphan how to box?
Yeah, why not?
Fantastic.
Listen here, Master Bruce.
So I can imagine you roaming the streets looking for
I
an
want you to
orphan.
have whatever life you want, but if it ever becomes too much for me to bear, I'm going to run off and I'm going to go to France and I'm going to watch you have sex with... I don't even care if we never stay friends enough, but I'm going to watch have sex with a chick who was a burglar once. Anyway, so have you got anything else you'd like to add about the film, Braden?
Nah, like I said, as a whole, great movie. The only fault I can really pick with it was the ending I wasn't overly fond of. But
Yeah.
even then, it wasn't terrible. Like,
No, it's a better ending than Returns.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's look at the question from our super fan, Mr. CrossFit. All right, we'll start with what I think is the easy one. Braden,
Yep.
who is Arkham Knight? Is it Hush, or is Hush not a big enough character, or how do you, or like, I guess I'll rephrase this question so it can be answered a bit more nicely for the radio. How important do you think Hush is in the Batman story? Do you think Hush will be part of this game? And if so, is Hush Arkham Knight? And if not, who is Arkham Knight?
I don't know who Arkham Knight is. Is Hush a big enough character for it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Not to your sort of, I guess, everyday fan who doesn't know all the characters and things like that. But I know I couldn't tell you who it is. I think it's got to have something to do. Has to have something to do with the Joker. Absolutely.
Surely, I mean, the Joker's been the linchpin of the villains in all the other games.
Yeah, he
He's gotta
won't
relate to that
be
somehow.
the Arkham Knight, but he'll be behind it in some way.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't know. I can't pick it at the moment. I don't know.
And what about you, Terry? Do you think that Hush is an important enough character in the DC universe to be Arkham Knight? And if not, who is Arkham Knight?
Honestly, looking back at Hush, look at the psyche of him, everything like that, and looking at the trailers and the leaked footage of the Arkham Knight.
Yep.
Considering that Hush has gone through all that stuff to be pretty much exactly like Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
If Hush, I haven't gotten to the part in any comic where Hush finds out Batman is Bruce Wayne, but that would make sense for me for Hush to Hush to mimic Bruce Wayne in real life.
Yep.
And the Arkham Knight suit looks pretty much exactly like Batman, just in like urban camouflage.
Yeah.
So for me, that would make really good sense.
Okay.
With a side spin, I've heard theories of it's Jokey, Harley and Joker's kid, but timeline-wise,
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't
work on any level. You'd have to have something like
Joker. It would have to be 15 years later at least.
It would have to be, and at that point in time, because Kevin Conroy's come back to do the voice of Arkham Knight. Batman in the Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
It would have to be a lot older than
Yeah.
what he is at the moment. So for me, Hush does actually make a lot of sense.
Okay.
So
See, I'm of the opinion that I think Hush is going to be in this game quite important. I think Hush in this will be what Deathstroke is in City.
So he's going to be the
in Origins.
he's going to be the annoying character I can't get past.
Yeah. That's what I think Hush will be. Whereas I'm still of the opinion, as much as they say he's dead, that's the Joker in that suit.
Could make a lot of sense.
Because I still don't like, as much as he's dead.
That's
I guess it comes down to this. Forensically speaking, I never saw Batman do a blood test.
At the same time, I mean, Joker was meant to be dead at the end of City as well.
Yeah.
So, and
well, no, City's what I'm talking about. City. This is the sequel to City.
Well, that's. Oh, it is too. I keep messing up my timelines
because Origins is the prequel.
They love shoving a prequel in the middle of a trilogy.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do now.
Yeah.
So,
which is why next week's episode we'll be going back in time.
Yay! Back to 66. No, it does actually make a lot of sense. You are correct, but for me, it doesn't make sense for the Joker to be dead because we've seen the constant you see in any Batman movie is that if Joker and Batman are in the same movie, they can't exist without one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just they've got that symbiotic, parasitic relationship going on.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any sense to have the Joker killed off.
And I mean, he faked his death, like I say, he faked his death in the thing once already, right? In that game alone. So, yeah, that's that one. All right, question number 2 then. So far, and as I say, we'll address this in a few episodes' time when we finish the Nolan trilogy as well. So far, Michael Caine, Michael Go. Which of the Michaels wins?
Go.
Go.
Yeah, mainly because I think for my money, out of the 4 he was in, I believe.
Yep.
For the first 2, he was very much Alfred. For the last 2, I feel he was camped up a little bit by whatever happened.
Yeah.
So Michael Go for me is the best Alfred out of the 2.
Okay.
No, I do like Michael Caine. He's a good actor, but his portrayal of Alfred was a little bit wrong.
So I'm gonna give my answer in 2 parts.
Okay.
Excuse me, I had something stuck in my throat. Then give my answer in 2 parts, and it's because there's an asterisk.
Okay.
Michael Caine was hands down with a bullet the best Alfred.
Okay.
Especially for the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, he's fantastic. You're exactly right. Until the Dark Knight Rises, where he's all like, "I can't do this no more."
Yep.
That's where I'm like, well, fuck
See you
off.
later.
Not like I know in the comics Alfred did that, but he
Yeah.
did it under a very, very, very different set of circumstances to what happened in that film. And that's why it's like there's not enough build up for that to have happened. Whereas Michael Go's Alfred is the constant, I'm always here, I'm getting pens when you're sticking them into cactuses, I'm roofing bitches up for you.
He's a gentleman's gentleman.
I'll tell you this much, if Batman's got a man, it's Michael Go. That's Batman's man.
Gentleman's gentleman.
That's what I'm having to start calling my man.
Yeah.
My gentleman's gentleman, Dan Hedaya. Well, yeah, so I guess we'll address that more when we finish the next ones
I don't actually think I'm going to change
as
my
well.
opinion
No,
on that.
I don't think anything would change my mind either. Simply because, as I say, it's if the Dark Knight Rises didn't exist, one, my life would be better, but two, it would
be
change
hands down.
circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, I think the back and forth they have in The Dark Knight,
Oh, that's very good.
that's the best written.
Yep.
As I say, the scene that for me I always feel like if anybody said to me, "I want you to just show me in one scene what is Bruce and Alfred," it's the moment in The Dark Knight Rises where they're shutting down the Batcave and they're going up through the elevator and Michael Caine's like, "So you're just going to turn yourself in?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, haven't you thought about repercussions?"
Yeah, what are you on
He's
about? I'm going
and
to tell him it was all
yeah,
your
he's
idea.
like, I'm just going to tell him it was your idea.
Yeah.
I
That's-
really like that because that is the dynamic the two of them have, and that to me that's Bruce and Alfred.
But the thing is, I mean, Sean Pertwee's performance so far, it's
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the son of a doctor, man.
Yeah.
He's the son of a doctor.
Yeah, it's literally transcending
Oh,
Kane and Go.
yeah. That
The-
I'm as I say, I know that kid is on his way to being the best Bruce we've ever had.
David Mazouz.
Yes, I may actually be taking back my Ben Affleck will be the best Batman ever.
Oh wow!
And going for that kid if they put him in the suit because
I mean, eventually, like, I don't know if they're going to keep the same kid. If they're going
I
to time
hope
jump.
they do.
They do. He's a very, very good young Bruce.
But you look at say the Harry Potter films. By
Yeah,
the time they get to 14,
yeah.
they start changing enough anyway that you can just go.
Yeah.
Maybe
What-
look at Game of Thrones. Isn't there a kid in that that's meant to still be like 11,
Yeah.
and he looks like he's about 37 now?
Yeah. I mean, there was that kid from Harry Potter who played, what's his name?
Neville.
Neville. He won puberty, that young fella.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
also had
he
his
did.
teeth fixed because of lots of money.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
helps too.
Yeah, but the thing is, he won puberty.
Oh, yeah.
That's hands down, yeah. So
He won-
If
he
that's
won
the
puberty.
example that we're going to get
Actually, I
from
think
that
Emma
kid-
Watson is the one that won puberty out of those films.
No, I kind of
That's
expected
like
that from her,
puberty.
actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks plain Jane, ends up hot. Neville was like tubby as, buck-tooth, and then bam, he's like
Hey, the biggest change in that film was Goyle. I mean, he went from white to black.
yeah.
He
Krabs.
went full Black
Take a
Lance.
beauty to it
He
all,
went full
you
Black
know.
Lance.
He went full Black Lance.
did, he went full Black Lance.
So, I mean, maybe that's how you can tell in the wizard world. People who drink wizarding malt liquor, they turn black.
They turn black.
That's what happens.
Sample it once, you can't go back. That's how that
The
is.
finest of wizarding malt liquor.
Oh, good lord.
Oh,
Well, otherwise, I think it's been a solid week of TV.
yeah, I
It's
think
been
so too. I think
ridiculous.
this is going to be another solid week of TV, and we're going to wrap it up obviously when we step through the fucking looking glass and go into the neon world of Joel Schumacher for Batman Forever.
Oh lord.
And I get my favorite actress ever, the wooden Nicole Kidman, who, if I move my face, a tsunami will happen somewhere in the world.
That's it. But I'm pretty sure Elle McPherson's in the fourth one.
Yep.
Fourth one. So I'm looking forward to that.
She's
Well,
in the fourth one,
McPherson.
and I believe that Uma Thurman is in it as well. Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy in that one.
God.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this time we get rid of Billy D and we get Tommy Lee.
Yeah. Tommy Lee. I enjoy Tommy Lee, but we'll get to that.
We'll see. We'll see what we think of it come next week. We'll either love it or hate it.
Is that next week or is it in the week? No, it is
No, it's next week.
It is
This
next week. Oh my god.
This week coming is Batman Forever,
Mm-hmm. So I've got
which ironically should have been the title of the last film, but we talked about that last week. So join us next week for that. As always, you can email us at fromthebatcave.podcast@gmail.com. Please do, like I said, like my man Mr. CrossFit Josh did earlier, we will answer your questions on air. And Josh, please keep sending them in. We loved your questions. We'll keep doing it for you, buddy. And hopefully, as I said to you, the invitation is there. You want a guest host? You're welcome to come in. That's your special gift for being the first person to ask a question. You get a guest host gig for anything you want. So if you hear that we're doing an episode you want a part of, you let me know, and we'll Skype you in from your merry home. Well, we'll keep the location secret because I don't want everybody coming in there and trying to get your salmon ladder secrets.
The salmon ladder secrets and the protein shakes.
Exactly. Maybe that's when you can come on and tell us all about how to become a superhero.
Yeah, physically at least, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know how to become a superhero. Otherwise, you just get dumped on an island.
You
or
get dumped on an island, or you
have lots of money.
Have lots of money. Actually, so far,
Hit
what
by
I found,
lightning bolt.
yeah. So what was that, Braden?
Have someone kill your parents.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's true. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Take an arrow to the knee or take a bullet to the parents. It's really one of those.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now, that was it. I do have one. I've got to the end of the episode, so I can label this a spoiler.
Yeah.
I heard something this week. We'll discuss it because that's what we do on this podcast. Now, I could be wrong, and as I say, I could be hearing something, or it could be a temp voice. I don't know. But I heard somebody online took the clip of "Hello, Sarah" from Arrow, slowed it down and removed the filter, and I swear to God, that's Moira Queen.
It can't be.
Oh, yeah, I
She
agree
took
with
a
Jerry.
blade
Just
that long.
doesn't
to
make
chest.
sense.
No, it doesn't make any
Lazarus
sense.
Pit.
Oh.
She
And
wouldn't- yeah, but she
you say
wouldn't-
that, the reason that... Okay, now
Why
looking at
would she
DC
go
Comics...
into a Lazarus pit?
I'll tell you why. I've thought about this. There's two things. There's one reason why she'd be bent from it and why she'd go in. I'll go on to the second part first, and I'll go back.
Okay.
The reason I know Lazarus pits make people crazy is because that's what happened to Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes sense that if Moira's gone into a Lazarus pit that long after death,
Yep.
she would be nutty. Now, the other reason I bring this up, go back and watch season 1 and The Undertaking.
Yeah, true.
She says, I am part of a secret society who have been planning something against this city for a long time. And it was Merlin's
Yeah, but
plan.
it wasn't. It was Merlin going against the
No,
League to plan.
yeah, but was it? Or what, think about it. What is the League? What does the League of Shadows do? They sack cities to the ground.
Yeah.
They bring about order by pillaging and burning and destroying.
So isn't that why they wanted to find him? Because he did that, and they didn't want him to do it.
No. Raz hasn't. Raz just said he wants him.
No.
Yeah.
From what I remember, sorry to cut you off, Braden, is that the reason they wanted him is because he went against the League's code. That's why they want Malcolm Merlin.
Yeah, I don't think it's got to do with the Undertaking though.
No, the
I'm
Undertaking-
honestly of the belief the Undertaking is a League thing.
Okay.
Because it just
The
fits
other
with what Moira
thing
was talking about. It
there
would make
is-
sense that Moira... I mean, sure, she never looked like defending herself or anything, but that doesn't mean that she's not somehow connected. And plus, if you wanted to fuck with Oliver Queen, and this is assuming, let's just say ultimately Raz is behind this.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to fuck with Oliver Queen. You bring his mother back from the dead, you have his mother kill the person he cares about, and then you have him confronted with the fact that you turned his mother into that.
Yeah, fair enough.
That would be a hell of a
but the
way.
only reason he wants to get Oliver now is because Oliver said that Malcolm's under his protection. Prior to that, he wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also with her, say if she was the killer, when Sarah come face to face with a killer, her reaction was, "What are you doing here?" Not, "Holy shit, you're supposed to be dead."
Yeah, I guess that's very true as well. But yeah,
So,
so
I don't know, I just don't
well,
see it.
that's the thing. As I say, that's what it sounded like to me. But as I say, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a temp voice because
Yeah.
they've done that in the past with multiple shows and multiple.
Yeah.
You know, it's just an industry standard thing to do.
Yeah.
But just something I thought was interesting was
Yeah, I
because
saw
to me
that.
it's definitely it's not Thea. I know that much. It is not Thea's voice,
Yeah.
but it is a female without question. It's a female that shot Sarah. So perhaps I'm still right with Sin.
Could be.
Maybe.
It's not Cupid. I know that.
Well, Cupid's
The arrows
gone
are, and the arrows are wrong.
Yeah, the arrows
Yeah.
weren't
So it's
pink
not
and,
Cupid.
pink and black.
So I did like the title. I will say this well on a final thought. I like the title card for Arrow this week that it was Cupid's arrow.
I saw that. I, was
I
like,
like it when they do little things like that are clever on that show. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for us here this week. Have you guys got anything else you'd like to say before we end?
I'm just really. I'm hoping the rogues sort of get introduced and fed in on the crossover episodes. I really hope they do.
Well, so far we don't even have the reason why they're fighting each other. I mean, obviously there's got to be.
I know the reason.
Oh, we'll do share.
There was a spoiler alert. There's a metahuman who has the ability to affect people's hormones and sends Barry on a hormonal rage thing.
I like it.
Is there an actual metahuman that can do that in comic book lore?
I don't know.
Ivy.
That's just what I read. I only read a very brief thing about it.
Yeah, I don't think they bring Ivy into it though.
No, I know this isn't Ivy, but I'm saying, yeah, there is a metahuman
Yeah,
that can do it.
I'm talking about in the Flash. And
I'm sure there is.
we're gonna have to
Wait,
look that up.
Cisco will give you the name next week.
Yeah, he will.
That's why, like you said,
Hormona.
he named the thing
Hormona.
Gerda, but he never named the villain,
Yeah,
which is the very clear. They're just doing the obvious.
yeah.
This is your Gerda to practice on because that's Gerda out there.
Now I see. If you actually said that to me during the review, I'd be like, cool, no worries.
Yeah.
Maybe I should consult you more often before.
Well, I am the oracle. I'm the font of knowledge.
I was going to say you're Barbara Gordon. Really? Do you want me to put you in a wheelchair right now?
I got the red hair, don't I?
and the bitchy attitude. Yeah,
Yeah, damn straight. Take that tone with me.
So I think that's the Flash part of the crossover, and the Arrow part of the crossover is Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Because we've already got Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang. We've got Heat Wave.
Here's a question. Oh no, he's too tall. Never
Who's
mind. I was
that?
going to say here's a question for you. We know that Captain Boomerang is a killer who throws things.
Yep. Yep.
Could I just think they're just trying to fill it with that sort of shit where we don't know.
Yeah, the script writers are very clever that
Yeah,
way.
they're bastards. They're good on this show, man. They're fucking me over because I can't tell what's happening. Sons of bitches.
Dear
Probably
Stephen
Deagle.
Amell, please tell us all. We're losing.
He's Canadian. I'm sure if we asked him, he would be like, "Oh, I didn't know it was upsetting you that much." Here's,
we
the whole-
will send you maple syrup
here's the scripts.
and buy some of your shirts. Actually, I think we should all buy one of his shirts.
I've already got one.
Have you?
Yeah, I have.
He's
I've
got the
one.
you've got the fuck AIDS one, don't you?
Yeah, no. Okay. Fuck cancer.
Yeah,
fuck
they're all-
cancer,
I
that's
think they're all fuck cancer. I think.
Yeah,
We'll
they're
have to
all
get
fuck
one of
cancer.
them.
Yeah, we'll get one of them, take a photo, and post it on his wall. See what happens.
I'm still.
Yeah.
I saw somebody put up a GIF this week, and I can't remember what part of the episode it was, but it was some part where Oliver did something that was very, very Arrow-like, and then they just freeze framed it and suddenly had like the full
Full
beard pop out, the Robin Hood beard, and he looked so perfect with. Like Stephen Amell with the Robin Hood beard, I was just
Yeah.
like, "Grow it! You look so perfect with it. Grow it! You actually look like Green Arrow." So
I'm hoping Green Arrow comes next season.
he has said it is an evolution and that they are he was the vigilante, he's now Arrow. They are leading him towards being called and becoming Green Arrow. It's part of the evolution process.
Fantastic.
So that is coming.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's nice
That is
because
coming.
we got Arsenal now, so
And we got
nice.
Flash. Since the Flash got
the
named,
Flash.
as we talked about last week, the Flash got named in like
Yep.
2 episodes in these, on like season 5, and he's like, "Who are you now? I'm the hooded Arrow
I
of
am-
Justice Vigilante.
Part-time temp worker at Macca's.
Would you like a donut?"
I'm trying to work out where Ollie gets his money from because he's got no more money.
Well, no, I saw an
Yeah.
interview about that as well. Because they asked Stephen Amell about that because he's quite good about answering questions. He's like, you've got to consider, they talk about him being broke. He's billionaire broke, as in, I still have millions in offshore accounts and shit. I'm just not a billionaire anymore.
I'm just a lowly millionaire.
Yeah, so he's still got quite a shitload of
Living
money.
off the interest.
And the other thing is, somebody pointed out on the internet, I think it was on Reddit this week, Felicity is now like a senior vice president in
Yeah.
Palmer Industries.
Yeah.
Which means that she's got to be on a decent salary, so maybe she's going to start bankrolling the quiver.
Yeah.
While Ollie's ploughing the quiver.
And I mean, we got to also consider the fact that we know Diggle's not paying it because he's got a family to raise. Man,
Yeah, but like they're
can't
both,
raise a family on cheap wages, man. I don't get paid to be no driver without a mask, man.
well, he and his partner, Diggle's partner, are government hitmen.
I don't
So-
think Diggle is. Diggle's
No,
freelance,
Diggle's
isn't he?
Diggle's still with still
Well, he's technically a member of the Suicide Squad, but he's pretty much freelance because he's always like, "You tell Walla I said suck my black dick, man."
yeah, basically. It's like, yeah, I really want to see a Suicide Squad movie featuring Batman because I watched Assault on Arkham the other day.
Yep.
Such a satisfying ending to that.
Yeah.
it's great.
Eventually,
I'd like to see that. I want to see that
we might. Well,
With-
who knows? Maybe by the time
with Margot as Harley
few more
Quinn,
weeks' time
and then
we'll
we can
get
just
there.
fap to that. That's insane.
you win.
That casting's perfect.
the rest of the film isn't though.
What,
Jared Leto should not be the Joker.
sorry,
Jared Leto
no.
should not be the Joker,
Mark Hamill.
and Will Smith should not be Deadshot.
Yeah, I saw that and that was actually really upsetting. It kind of annoyed me because,
As I said, Will Smith should be Green Lantern.
yeah, he can go over to Marvel.
He'd make a. That's DC, bro.
Oh no, there's two.
CSDK.
I've got a headache. Leave me alone. Been hanging with
Justice
Adam all day.
League.
That's right. I keep forgetting. Sorry, Ryan Reynolds is blurring the lines for me.
I think the next Green. I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually once the movies come out, because I think Green Lantern will be in the Justice League movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I reckon we'll get Green Lantern eventually in Arrow. The other thing as well, the pub where
Well, I don't think we'll get Green Lantern in Arrow.
you don't.
I read something today about I forgot who the writer or whatever it is the show is, but saying that they're steering clear of powers.
Yeah.
They're keeping it
Okay.
realistic.
If you have noticed, Gotham and
Oh yeah, I know.
Arrow
They
go-
normally do steer clear of them, but it's just those two characters are so tied together.
Oh yeah.
That's why I thought they might bring him in. And the other thing I did notice, I reckon it was in Arrow, in Flash, not in Arrow, but no, sorry, it was in Arrow. The place where Palmer went to have his dinner, it's Gardner's restaurant,
Oh yeah.
is owned by the parents of Guy Gardner, who is the Green
really?
Lantern, or one of the Green Lanterns. So that's why I see that shit and I'm like, okay.
They could just put it in there for like a little thing.
Oh,
for
if they
fans.
were going to do it, I imagine he'd get his own
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But as I say, just for me, it's like, well, that if you're going to bring any character in, Lantern makes the most sense because
yeah.
Lantern and Arrow hell, the heroine storyline is part of Green Arrow, Green Lantern comics, not
Yeah.
Green Arrow comics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Off on a tangent.
there we go. Off on a nice tangent to the end of the episode. And as I said, feel free to contact us from the Batcave.podcast@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook. That's facebook.com/fromthebatcave. We'll happily answer your questions. We would love them. We'd love your feedback. Anything. Anyway, just shit. You can ask it. Doesn't need to be comic related. Just ask us a question. We'll answer it. That's our guarantee here on From the Batcave.
Dear
We
Lord.
will answer it.
That is a dangerous guarantee.
Yeah, it's good as well.
Yeah.
You got to stoke the pot to make sure they get in.
Oh, good Lord.
Get in. Well, gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure talking Batman with you. And until next week, I've been your host, Adam Gerard, and with me, as always, in these delightfully ear-infusing conversations of ours, I've been joined by the incomparable Terry O'Neill
See you later, guys.
and the vigilante Braden Hearn.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
And who are you?
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Yes, I'm Batman.
Telegraph.
I am Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
You sound like Cookie Monster.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm thirsty. I'm hungry.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Darling, I don't have to answer to you. I'm Batman. I'm totally Batman. Clearly, I am Batman. I am Batman.
This has been a Cabana production.